Hey everybody, welcome back to the Weekly Entertainment Bubble. I'm your host and MyHighPlains.com correspondent Aaron Rosas. We're back recapping all of the latest in entertainment news. I'm here with David Gay. Hey David, how's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
We have some good topics. I think David's excited about a couple of these, and I want to get right into it. We're going to begin with Taylor Swift releasing her 10th studio album. It's already going worldwide, doing really well. Midnights, it's called. We have a lot of reviews from New York Times. And David, what do you love about Taylor Swift?
I don't know. What I love about Taylor Swift is that her album by album, I guess, approach is different. It's not really the same, so you don't really know or expect how she's going to sound. It really depends on who she's working with. It depends on, I guess, if she has any features on the album. She's really just, embracing pop, embracing country, just all these different kinds of facets depending on who she's working with. And I really appreciate that of variety. And her songwriting's baller as well. So
I think her songwriting's really good. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I've heard music that's definitely moved me toward liking her. I really like Wildest Dreams, which is one of her, it's kind of old. It's not too old, and I heard a couple of songs. I know me and David just listened to one called, would it Bejeweled? Yeah. And it was really good. It's a bop.
It really was. And I'll be honest, that's the first song that I've heard from this new album.
Which I'm surprised about because I know when we're in the newsroom, you really go hard for Taylor Swift.
You
defend her a lot.
And from what it sounded like a return to that Reputation era, and it sounded like indie pop, kind of showcased by the album's producer, Jack Antonoff, who's worked with some of the biggest indie rock, indie pop stars, a lot of female pop singers of the recent decade, from Lorde to Olivia Rodrigo, Lana Del Rey, who's featured on Midnights, Clairo, Carly Rae Jepsen, my favorite. And then even he produced the new 1975 album that came out 2 weeks ago. So you can hear his kind of his sound, especially through the song that we just heard, the Bejeweled song.
I have seen a couple of things that he's produced. He's incredible. He is in one of the music videos, the Bejeweled one that we just looked at. And I think it's a great music video. I do want to grab that music video because there's a cameo from, I personally love Laura Dern. She's in this one. There's a medieval theme to it. And then we have some of your favorite artist, Haim, in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just want to take a look at the first bit of it. Just, I don't want to get copyright, so they're just speaking. So yeah.
Oh, this is some of her best work. It's disgusting. No, I'm sorry, my dudes. He's gonna choose me. I even contoured my abs with the mud from the hog pen outside.
Who wrote this? I want to know who wrote the script to this.
I mean, it's clever.
Well, I'll be poisoning all the other maidens.
I love Laura Dern.
She's great.
Yes,
I like how they gave her a little mole right here on the side of her cheek.
They're changing it this year. So instead of just showing up at the ball looking hot, you have to enter a talent competition.
This is your vibe, though. I feel like right away you reacted to it and you're like, this is really good.
Yeah, it really is. It's really clever. It kind of goes back to some of the other videos that she's done in the past. It reminds me of the Love Story video. But I mean, getting Laura Dern, the Haim sisters,
look how many
it's just it's really awesome.
Well, we all know
it really
who's
is.
And I know that Haim, they're really good friends with Taylor Swift. Their music, they've sang her praises. Adele sang her praises, said she's one of the greatest songwriters of our generation. She does know how to write music. I don't think there's any denying that.
She actually just a couple days ago went in London to a Bon Iver show. She surprisingly appeared at that show, and she sang the duet with Bon Iver that's on, I believe it's Evermore. So it's interesting how she, like I said, balance all these different types of musical genres, and it's just really impressive. I am fascinated to see. I know she's probably going to go on tour next year. I am going to be fascinated to see how she can balance all these genres in a single in a single set. And we haven't even mentioned either that along with the record sales, just completely blasting everything out of the water this year.
She's shattering records for sure.
She had the most streamed album in a single day on Spotify, which is massive.
It's really massive because that's, for obvious reasons, really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why she deserves a lot of respect, because you could say what you want, but she does. I love how she morphs a lot of genres. Like you were saying, there's the country. I was looking at interviews of her when she first started out, you know, the young girl with a lot of curls in her hair. And you can just see something in her. You knew she was going to make it because she was ambitious. She loved country music. And I really like how she's shifted her career. I think she's incredible.
Yeah,
she's
she's
a good artist.
bringing everybody together through her music, which is awesome.
Yes. So that what I was laughing about is I was seeing that she had sold the most amount of albums, you know, at one time, which I find interesting because I asked you, I said, who still buys albums? And you were like, I still buy albums, man.
I mean, I've gone on this rant before, but I mean, CDs are the way to go. I mean, they're so yes, I still buy CDs. They're full of my car of CDs. So, I mean, I don't have this one. I have Red though. I have Taylor Swift's Red in my car.
That one did really well too, right? Red.
That will be that's my go-to Taylor Swift album. I think it's the way she sounds best, and I still haven't listened to the re-recording because I love the original so much. So I need to go and do that. But no, I think, but no, I wouldn't be surprised because there was a bunch of different like CD releases on this. There were a bunch of different vinyl, depending on where it was sold. Indie record stores, Target, other places like that. Depending on what edition you got, there were different songs, bonus tracks, or whatever. So it's interesting how her marketing department is using these different avenues to release different products, and people are gobbling them up, obviously. So.
Yeah, and also people are already just dissecting everything she does in every scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to happen. They do that in general, but now that she has a new album coming out, they're really getting into it. She has a song called Anti-Hero, and she actually, you know, a lot of reports are saying she secretly took out the scene where she's standing on a scale and she's watching herself. It's like a reflection. She's watching herself standing on a scale, and people were saying she's fat shaming or fat phobia or whatever. So she secretly took that out of the music video and released it without that scene. Mm-hmm. So I think from Lizzo to Beyonce to now Taylor Swift, everyone's going to see something that they don't like. It's just going to happen when you're in the public eye. So it's already happened to Taylor Swift.
Well, people are also using her videos for this album to kind of determine what's next on the re-recording track. You know, people are dissecting like the things in the background, like very like Inception-esque. You know, like trying to determine, is she gonna re-record this next or that next or whatever. It's interesting if she puts that much thought into it, or if this is just happenstance and people are just looking at it just so intently that they want to find something, a hidden message in what's to come for Taylor Swift. I don't know. It might be a little bit of both, actually.
Yes. Well, I see a lot of smart artists doing that these days, where they're putting Easter eggs in their music videos, their lyrics, and their audiences love it. I think they look for exactly what you were saying, and it's a way to sell records and marketing and money and business. All of it comes together, and Taylor Swift is so far doing it right with the sales. So good for her.
And what's funny about it is, I mean, you know, the first Easter egg that I remember is basically, you know, for me was the Marvel franchise, right? It was the, you know, seeing things from the comics throughout the movies and then them highlighting and, you know, referencing to future works, whether it's movies, TV shows, products, whatever. So it's interesting how the music industry, through videos, through songs, through products, is kind of embracing that approach to kind of make the whole cohesive, I guess, collection, if you will, of a whole entire brand.
Well, let's talk about some Marvel movies. Are you a huge Marvel fan? Do you like all of those movies? There's so many of them. I think they're about to start the 5th phase is what they're calling it. Are you a Marvel fan?
Man, I sound like like the Taylor Swift. I'm really behind on Marvel. I really liked the first, I think, 2 or 3 phases, and then I kind of fell off. I think the last one that I saw was
There's so
Eternals.
many.
But the Ant. I just watched the first Ant-Man the other day, the first one with Paul Rudd, and I really enjoyed it. So I was really excited to see this trailer pop up the other day.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of the trailer. There's some Elton John under it, so I'll show a little bit of that.
Is that how you Quantumania? Is that how you pronounce it?
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
And Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. Michael Douglas, some really great actors.
Oh yeah, Evangeline Lilly from Lost, my favorite show of all time.
Evangeline Lilly, I have seen Lost. It is a good show. She was really good in Lost.
Oh
too.
yeah.
But Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's one of the first ones I saw out of the Marvel universe. I think I saw that, was really into Ant-Man. Then I watched what's the one? Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Which I know
Great
was
movie.
like the 3rd or 4th one in the Thor movies.
The 3rd one, yes.
But I loved
bomb.
it. It's really good. And you know what I like is the comedy of it. I love how they threw some comedy, because I didn't know a Marvel movie could be quirky like that, because I'd never seen one. So when I watch Ant-Man, when I watch Thor, I really was into it. When I watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, I loved it because Michelle Pfeiffer pops up. That's her first Marvel movie, was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, I have to ask, why did you watch Ant-Man?
Oh, Ant-Man? Because Paul Rudd. Dude, you know how obsessed with Paul Rudd I am?
Oh, yeah.
I just spit because I'm so, I couldn't I love him. I love Paul Rudd so much. I mean, I like Michelle Pfeiffer, but Paul Rudd's acting in anything, he looks like he's 30 in everything he does. He's in his 50s.
All right.
But I think he kills it in this role. I know something that interests me was I didn't know Paul Rudd could be a superhero like this. I loved him before the Marvel movies, and Clueless was great. But this was the first time where I'm like, oh no, he is incredible. I know he's Ant-Man and small, but he's incredible.
What's interesting to me about Paul Rudd in this role is that basically it's Paul Rudd. It's his public persona in a role. So it seems like he's kind of just being funny, being dramatic when he has to, obviously, but he's a likable guy in this movie or in this series. And it seems like he's not having to, be all that different from other roles that he's in.
Should we talk about how Bill Murray pops up?
Oh, sure.
So his character hasn't been revealed. No one knows who he's playing, but he just randomly pops up. And the first thing I thought of is he randomly pops up in really great things. So he popped up in Parks and Recreation as the mayor who died. He had 0 lines. He just laid in a casket, and he was there for 2 seconds. But, is that his thing?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to...
Both in Hollywood and in public. He just likes to show up in
cameos.
random places and, make somebody's day.
I've seen multiple interviews with Bill Murray where I turn it on, I'm like, what is happening? Because there was one where he was like on the Today Show, he was in a stool.
Yeah.
He seemed drunk. I'm like, what is happening? Because I guess he can be like that. His whole persona, he's a comic, he does comedy work.
Yeah, but I'm really excited, particularly for this one, about the addition of Jonathan Majors. And I think as kind of the villain of what I'm understanding as kind of the center villain of this next phase of the Marvel universe. And I think that's a really smart casting decision by Marvel, because he's kind of up and coming still, but he was in a show that I really liked on HBO called Lovecraft Country, and he was really stellar in that show. Really great acting performance. He was in The Last Black Man of San Francisco. And then along with this movie, him debuting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he's the villain in the next Creed movie. So I think 2023 is going to be a huge year for Jonathan Majors, and people are going to, really be exposed to him. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he does in the cinematic universe here.
Yeah, I like that reports are saying he's going to serve as a overarching antagonist of the MCU for this 5th phase.
Yep.
I didn't even know before we started that there was phases of the MCU.
Oh,
There's so many movies.
Oh man. And shows. and animated specials and holiday. It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot.
I like the Groot movies.
Oh, which one?
Groot, from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Groot. So one of our coworkers, Cheryl, had showed me the Disney lineup on the app, the Disney Plus app. It's ridiculous how you can categorize it from like references. You can categorize it Thor movies, Ant-Man, all together, or you could do it in timeline form. So, when the first one was versus when the latest was in the timeline universe.
So is your favorite Ant-Man? Is your favorite Marvel movie Ant-Man?
I feel like I have to say yes because it has two of my favorite actors ever in it. But Thor Ragnarok just slaps.
Yeah, really.
It's good, Thor Ragnarok. What's your favorite? Who's your favorite Marvel superhero?
Well, my favorite movie is Black Panther.
Okay.
I think the soundtrack plus the storyline. I saw actually before we started recording I know what you're going to say. The first reviews are coming out for the sequel, and apparently it's a heartfelt ode to Chadwick Boseman, who died in 2020 of cancer. I'm really excited about the sequel. I might actually, because I'm kind of in the middle of a rewatch right now of everything. I might have to pause that and go see the new Black Panther, even if I don't understand everything, just because I love the first one so much. And I think it's the best one. I also really liked Endgame.
Well, they said Rihanna teased a new song for Black Panther on Twitter. She showed a little video. She is going to be singing a song for Black Panther. I feel that's already probably Oscar worthy.
It'll be interesting to see if she does anything with it on her halftime performance.
Do you think she's gonna?
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like she'll probably do like Umbrella, all the ones you love.
Because usually they do like some kind of new song in the middle somewhere. So maybe she'll do this one because I think it just depends on the overall reception of Black Panther, which I think is going to be the most well received Marvel movie in a long time.
It's definitely going to be a massive outpouring of love for that movie. Absolutely. For sure. I will tell people that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is set to be released February 2023. Yeah. Next subject is about Leslie Jordan. I loved Leslie Jordan. He has died at the age of 67. Reports are indicating that he died in Los Angeles. He had a medical emergency while he was driving a vehicle, and he died from a car crash. So that is what is being reported right now. He was in Will and Grace. What I really known him for was American Horror Story and also his Instagram content. During COVID, people really liked all of his content because he was speaking to his audience, showing people what he was doing in COVID. But he has a super quirky personality, I think that's what made it something people really loved.
And I'll be honest, I'm not really that familiar with Leslie Jordan. I did see, because I'm a nerd, that he did an interview on a news program about his future plans for a country music album.
Look at him on
and that I guess happened right before he passed. So I'll be interested to see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, I loved his Instagram content. I think it's incredible and. Definitely, but you've seen the outpouring of support everywhere. Yes. Everybody from comedians to I even saw an Instagram post from an artist I like called Billy Strings. He posted about it, a picture with Leslie Jordan. I don't know. It seemed like whatever facet of entertainment he had some kind of impact on. So definitely a big loss to the industry.
And one of the things that I found fascinating about Leslie Jordan is a lot of creators and writers and producers that put him in shows. It was incredible because I think they wrote around his personality. Sure. He had a very specific, fun-loving personality, a cowboy twang kind of thing. And people that wanted him in, they knew what they were going to get. He's a quirky, fun-loving guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a big loss. You had people like Deborah Messing, Megan Mullally, all these people that had starred with him in Will and Grace. Every one of them had said how incredible this guy was. I saw videos of him singing, making some of the album.
Yeah.
And so it's sad because clearly he had a lot of life to live. He wanted other stuff to be put out in his name. And so, yeah, it's a sad one. So he died at the age of 67, which is young. Yeah. David.
Yes.
Halloween season. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, yeah. I like the candy. I like candy corn.
But are you a Scream worthy kind of person? Do you like the fear, the haunted houses, the creepy masks?
No. Oh, so what's funny is that like I don't get scared by like horror movies or anything like that. However, like if you put me in a haunted house, I will throw hands.
Throw hands?
Like if you like someone like pops out in front of me, like, I'm not like, no, thank you.
You'll react and
yes,
you'll
correct.
hit.
Yeah. Or not actually hit because that would get me in trouble. But like, like I will react and it's not fun for me.
Yeah. You were saying one of your favorite horror movies yesterday. Remember we were talking about favorite horror movies? Was it Hereditary?
It was. Yeah. It seems like, not to get too deep in a rabbit hole, but Hereditary is a part of like the, I don't know, indie kind of resurgence of horror that really started with A24's The Witch. And then that studio really embraced like kind of the weird, quirky, not necessarily pop out gory stuff, but kind of that slow burn kind of horror. Hereditary is one of them, Midsummer. So it's just really
The Ring. Didn't you say The Ring too?
I've never seen The Ring.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just talking about like these more modern movies are necessarily have kind of reshaped what horror is, and Hereditary is one of them. It's like one of the only movies that actually scared me. It's creepy. It's really creepy.
I had read a synopsis on it, and just reading it, I read the first couple paragraphs of what goes on in the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, there's no way I could watch this movie.
It's awesome.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's horrible. If you want to read a synopsis, Hereditary, Wikipedia. Toni Collette is in it.
Yes.
So on myhighplains.com, I did a list of famous Scream queens, which are, actors who are well known for roles that they took that are very Scream worthy. So Jamie Lee Curtis was in Halloween, every Halloween.
Not everyone, but yes, she was in a lot of them.
Most of them. Wait, she's not in all of them?
No.
What? I didn't know she wasn't in all of them.
She's not in Season of the Witch or some of like the ones in like the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely know.
From what I remember,
her mom is Janet Leigh. She was in Psycho. Very famous scene in the shower. Janet Leigh. So it runs in the family.
It does.
They love a Halloween horror. I also put Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Neve Campbell's in all of the Screams, most of the Screams.
All
all
five.
five.
She's in all of them.
She's in all of them.
Yeah.
So and I think you said one of the ones I didn't put on, and maybe I shouldn't, or maybe I should have. David said Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I think of first when it comes to Scream. It's
that
the
scene
first
of her
scene
on
in
the
the movie.
phone?
It's iconic. So
I think I put Neve Campbell because she's in multiple.
I agree.
Reincarnations of it. And then I put Linda Blair, and Heather Langenkamp was from A Nightmare on Elm Street. So Freddy Krueger, all of that, super spooky. I have to tread lightly on some of this stuff because I'm not a Halloween fanatic. It just scares me too much. Just reading something, David, I can't do it. It's too much.
So I will say that on Sarah Michelle Gellar, you missed the big one.
Go ahead.
The live action Scooby-Doo.
She's great in that.
Well, but it's kind of set in like a...
That's like camp horror, right?
It's not horror. It's just like, fun, and it's just... I just wanted to talk about the live action.
It's Halloween oriented, right? So correct. It's not horror, but it's a Halloween centric.
And that movie's a 10 out of 10 fantastic.
Yeah, isn't Linda Cardellini in that?
Yes.
And I love...
Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard.
Oh, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, yeah. It's a stellar film. Also, like a really an Outkast song that's a big bop was featured in that movie. Okay, it's with Killer Mike before Run the Jewels, so it's baller. Oh, it really it's a classic.
Which is the one I saw where Velma gets a makeover. Linda Cardellini. She is into one of the characters. I don't know, some guy. And then they give her like an updo.
I think it's the first one. I think
Is
that's
it the
it.
first?
Yeah.
That's the one I've seen.
It's awesome.
The other ones I haven't seen, but I definitely saw the first one.
Also-
I loved it. I've seen it a couple times.
Quintessential VHS movie.
Oh my God. You know what I had on VHS? I think I had I always mention this, the Care Bears.
Oh, really?
We didn't have a whole lot of VHSs.
Yeah.
And we got rid of all our CDs except for one. I'll give you $50 if you can you're never going to guess it. It's from
Probably
the 80s.
not. I mean, I can guess.
Go ahead. I'll give you one guess. Yes.
Madonna's Greatest Hits. I don't know.
That's a good guess. No, Lionel Richie. For Dancing on the Ceiling. I opened a drawer. We don't have any CDs. We got rid of them. I don't know where they're at. For some reason, there's that one straggler, and it was a Lionel Richie.
Awesome. Viewers, if you don't want your CDs, I'll take them off your hands.
And it was 80s Lionel Richie, so he had that good hair.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you collect CDs?
I have a lot. I have a lot of CDs.
Must be nice.
I need a CD player in my car no matter what. But yeah, I love them. They're fantastic. Fish just announced the CD set, so they're still alive and well in the jam scene. So
I think that's that's $1 in the jar. Because I said, okay, he's gonna mention fish. We should have a jar in the newsroom, so whenever you mention fish, you have to put $1. Because I shouldn't talk. I think every day I talk about Paul Rudd.
You do.
And Jeff Bridges, oddly.
yeah, relatively recently, it's been Jeff Bridges.
I love Jeff Bridges.
Speaking of Jeff Bridges and Paul Rudd and Marvel, Jeff Bridges and Iron Man, great.
Oh, he had the bald head in Iron Man, right?
And he had the weird accent too.
I forgot he was in. Why did I forget he was in Iron
Awesome.
Man?
Yeah.
Because it's been a while. I feel like every famous person is now part of the MCU. There was that cast photo, and it was every famous person except for Meryl Streep. Weirdly, Meryl Streep is not in the MCU.
She will be.
She will be. Thank you, David, for coming on with me. I thought it was really important to have you on, especially around Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan.
I am.
And here's the thing, I'm probably becoming a fan,
Oh,
to be honest.
come on. Come on
I
in.
wasn't before. I heard Bejeweled. It's a bop. I was, going all ham on it. So I
Next.
like it.
Next, I need to get you to be a fan of Fish. So
No, is Fish, is that one of the ones that does 14-minute jam sessions?
Yes.
I can't do it.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Say bye to the fans, David.
Listen to Fish, guys.
Have an incredible weekend. And I will see you guys next Friday. See you later.